Welcome to Healings and Meditations with Frank Jordan and the Earth Mind Think Tank Group. We take requests for healings in the second hour. You can call in on 702-879-4770 or on Skype, wolfspirit.switchboard1. If you simply wish to make a healing request, please type into the chat room on wolfspiritradio.com with the name of the person, the location, and the condition that the person needs healing. You're listening to Wolf Spirit Radio. Welcome. Okay, Oh, on you go, Susan.
Okay. Well, yes, this is Susan, and I'm taking over for Frank today. He is has some family things going on, and so we're gonna later on we'll send some love and support to him. But we're gonna we were just figuring out what we're gonna talk about today. JP, what are the programs that have been going on with you today? Are we gonna?
Well, the first one I did was a mind control trauma based recovery. The second was about moving into a place where you can express your soul energy more, and by taking a higher perspective on things. She calls it the hawk mentality, seeing things from the mountaintop. And my show was about it was about me, really. So talking about, well, this is really the stuff that I'm interested in, and how that has expanded into being a radio show, and people are listening to us, and yeah, I got some feedback this last week from some of my listeners, and it was, yeah, it's unusual. So it's an event, but it was good.
Okay, very good. Well, we were talking about possibly, it was suggested earlier, about doing some manifestations, of how we do manifestations to I guess create different things. I know we've kind of discussed that before. Let me see here. I haven't gotten my thoughts together with that yet. So, Gary, what do you do?
Do you want me to?
Or do you want to start out?
Well, let's say that manifestation is an interesting little sort of sidetrack, because it's about being able to focus all of yourself, and without division. And so, part of the idea, in the 80s and 90s. We started getting these little golden stickers, I'm good and I am deserving, and I see these things. Little affirmations. We started getting affirmations. One of the things that I was taught that affirmations do is that the reason that you do those is you say the thing, and then you listen to the little voice in your head saying, "No, you're not," and then you can engage in it because it's just revealed itself. So that was one of the first things that we started doing in terms of getting our mind back, really, because our minds were not our own. And part of the awakening process is literally you get your mind back, and you get your sovereignty back, and you get your soul back, and you allow you get to a point when your soul can continually express on this planet, which is really, really rare, let me tell you.
So what do the rest of us do?
So, manifestation. Back to the manifestation. So the thing about the manifestation is that that was the thing that we started getting next with like the Celestine prophecy, and being able to sense a good path and a bad path, and being able to use dowsing and things like that to navigate us, because we're actually working blindly. We've been blinded. We don't see most colours. We can't hear most sounds. We only hear a tiny little slit of sounds. We only see a tiny little spectrum, very fine slit of reality. And most of the action is going on elsewhere that we can't perceive, which is one of the reasons that we have problems. And the main problem is that our souls transmit and receive on those other frequencies. And so you have to be very, very still and get everything really, really still and focused. And one of the good things that you can learn to do with focusing, first of all, is meditation, but also is manifestation. And basically, you get yourself into a place of thankfulness, and you get yourself into a place of feeling the feeling that you want to feel, and combining those two creates a thought form that then you can release and get on with your day, and then it will manifest. That's from what I've experienced, and that's my manifestation experiences. That's how I do it. Do it in the morning. I wake up every morning, and I say, "Thank you for this, thank you for that, thank you for that, thank you for a lift into town." You know.
And then you send out saying, this is going to be a great day. I'm going to get so much accomplished, and at the end of the day, I'm going to be thankful again. I picked up a saying that I have that I took over to the one church that I belong to is, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? And the same kind of thing, what would you accomplish if you knew you couldn't fail? If you started out thinking, I'm going to accomplish this, and keep on with it, to manifest it, without thinking that you're not going to fail with it.
Well, and this is coming into Walt has been posting in the chat room talking about the Wingmakers, and it says if what you want to manifest is not aligned, I'll say it slowly. If what you want to manifest is not aligned with your higher self, it will not happen. Essentially, and again, this comes back to what I was talking about in my last program, which is soul expression. Most of the time, we don't give our soul a chance to express itself. Most of the time, we've sold our soul. We go to work. We focus and attend to other things that are not our soul's expression, unless
busy and distracted.
Yes, it takes you away from your soul expressing on this planet, which is what it's here for. And so it's just sitting there, very patient, twiddling its thumbs. Yeah, eventually they'll get it. Yeah. And this is the job of the personality through awakening, is to allow your soul to have its say, because it's actually what you love anyway. And the busyness is like, I've got to do this for someone else. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I've got to do this because I'm in debt. I've got to do this because I've got a mortgage. I've got to do that because my children will starve. No, I've got to do this. The worst one for me is like, I've got to pay my tax bill. Oh my God. Yeah. Because, what is tax but your soul? What is it? Who's it for? It's not for the IRS. I'm sorry.
It's because we've been living lies. We've been living the lies. We all know inside that it didn't feel right, that there was something obviously big and wrong. And so now that we're beginning to pay attention to the things, not that we can't hear all those different levels, it's just we've not trained ourselves or practiced or paid attention to those things. So we're coming more in tune to who we are, like you said, JP, and it's coming. We're opening up, and that's why we become more aware, because we're coming to fulfill. If we live every day as every moment that we already are fulfilled, that we already feel great, that we're not lacking, that we don't need something to be happy. We're already happy at this moment. Then I think that's when I manifest. Then that's sort of like that's the path, and all of a sudden things happen that I didn't even realize that I wanted to manifest, but that are right in line with feeling. You know what I'm saying, or what I need, or what I'm reaching for. So I want truth and the best, and to know more. And thank you all for that, because you give me more all the time. And I love it. Thank you.
I'm sorry, we lost a lot of that, Marilyn, because Gary, could you please mute your mic? Control and M will close it down for you, or click the mic mute. But you've created a big echo there. Marilyn, do you want to just say that last part again? It was lovely.
About living each moment as
Yep.
we're already have what we need, who we are, and that leads us to, we don't have to even think about what we want to manifest, because if we're living in the moment of who we are and that greatness and that awesomeness of that everything is possible and living in that dominion, then we walk right into it. It just comes to us and we don't even have to worry about it because it manifests what we actually want in our hearts, because that's what we really are vibrating, but we've stopped ourselves sort of like, because the world around us was not ready. And so we've been bouncing around, but now the energies all around us are coming to a place where we all can be free. It's happening all the time. It feels lovely, and we always want more. And I was thanking the whole group for giving me more and expanding my mind and the world, because what we do is going out to everyone. It's like that standing wave Frank talks about. You know what I'm saying? Put that vibration there and pretty soon it gets bigger. Thank you all.
You're very welcome.
And I think that's it. I think that, it's the awareness. Like you said, if you are aware that where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be, and you face it head on with love, you got it. But for the rest of us who, sometimes me, for those times that we're not in that state of awareness, it's a practice. It's a practice of saying,
practice.
I'm going to clear my mind. I'm going to see and feel emotionally. It's the charge of the emotion that brings it into being. And as you do it with tiny little things, like a bigger example, let's say I was reviewing some old videos today, and it was really funny to look back just a year or two ago. I took this video, a very frustrated video, sitting in traffic in my car going to work, and I was going on about the fossil fuel and the waste of time and how insane is this, and then I caught myself and I said, but not for long, because I'm changing my world. I'm not going to be doing this for long, because I'm excited about how things are going to be different, and I just started doing that sort of positive stream of consciousness, you might say, getting my awareness back into that energy flow. And now I'm looking at it, I'm going, I did it. I look back and I'm not there anymore. I'm not driving in the car anymore. I'm not, it happens. And sometimes you have to look back and review a little bit of the things you have created and how did you create them, for good or for bad? What were you thinking of? What were you feeling? That's what draws that energy in. And then you learn how to be in that state all the time, where you're just feeling so much love that everything that comes in your life is just like a fun experience to learn from.
Your experience reminds me of when Dr. Costa taught his son, I think it was the oldest son, when he was still in high school. He was a senior in high school, and he taught his son one day how to create a job, because for some reason, I don't know why, his son wanted to work in an actuarial office. I don't know exactly what they do, but that's what he wanted to do. And the father says, well, if you're ready, I can help you, but you have to do what I tell you. So what he told his son to do, okay, you want to work in an actuarial office, so how do you dress when you work in an actuarial office? And so the son came to his office, and he was dressed in a tie and shirt and shoes and dress pants. He says, okay. So then what he did is he had his son go out in the garden of the office building where he had his office, and told him to pull weeds from the garden. But he says, pull the weeds with the knowledge that you're working in an actuarial office. Don't think of anything else. Ignore that you're pulling weeds. You're working in an actuarial office. So your attitude, your actions, everything has to reflect that you're working in an actuarial office. So he did this for one day. He did this for 2 days, and the third day, a friend of Dr. Costa came over to the building, and he knew the family, and he stopped on the sidewalk, and he was asking David Costa, what are you doing? Because he saw him, dressed, dress pants and shirt and tie, and he's pulling weeds. And he says, I'm working in an actuarial office. And he goes, what? And the man laughs. What are you talking about? He says, I'm working in an actuarial office. He says, my dad is inside if you want to see him. So the man goes inside and asks Dr. Costa, what's going on with your son outside? He's pulling weeds, but he's dressed like he's working in an office. He says, "Oh no, I'm just teaching him how to manifest a job." And he goes, "Okay." He says, "Well, do you have time? Do you want to go out to lunch?" And Dr. Costa says, "No, I don't, but David should be available because it's his lunchtime." So he invites David to go out to lunch, and guess what? The man owned an actuarial office. So during lunch, he offered him a job. And he ended up working in an actuarial office. I don't know for how long, but that's one of the things, is that whatever you want to manifest, regardless of your physical activity in this world, translate that, convert it in your awareness that you're not washing dishes, you're painting a picture. Whatever it is that you want to achieve, or whatever it is that you want to see yourself doing, regardless of the physical activity, translate it in your consciousness. You know, let's say you're, I don't know, making a meal, but your dream is to carve statues, you know, whatever. You know, you're making a meal, but you're carving statues, you know, just to give you a funny example there. So that
you would be carving a plate of food, a dinner.
Correct. So when Diane told that story, I made the connection because you did it. I mean, you were in a set of, outwardly your circumstances were undesirable, but you translated it inside yourself to desirable circumstances, and you did it. It actually went the way you want it.
It is, you know, Walt, like you say, that is what self-talk is all about, and most of us self-talk in the negative.
Oh, correct.
And we need to change that and start self-talking positively, and that's what Diane was doing. She was, you know, she changed her talk from negative to positive, and this Dr. Costas changed his son's thinking, you know, from pulling woods to working where he wanted to work.
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't need to be specific. That's the other thing. Sometimes being very specific, like overthinking it, will counteract your emotional, because you'll get oh my gosh, but what if? But I can't possibly. That's too much. So not even before I knew anything about manifestation, co-creation, you know, conscious creation. When I was in college, everybody at the final semester, everybody's stressing out because they got to line up interviews. They got to think about their plan. What are they going to do next? You know, where are they going to work? And they're all stressed. And they would say, well, what are you going to do? And I was still in party mode in college. I didn't want to think about reality. So I'd say, oh, I'm not worried about it at all. I'm going to have the perfect job. And it just got more elaborate and more elaborate every time somebody would ask me. And I'd say, oh, it's going to be doing something that's really cutting edge, and it's going to be with people, but I'm going to get to do microscopy work. And I made some very big generalities, but I was always, and it was kind of like I was faking it till I make it. I wasn't really taking it seriously, but I wasn't worrying. I was in a neutral kind of space. And I ended up coming here, and after one short-term job here in California from Massachusetts, I ended up getting my job, my dream job, working in a lab, doing microscopy, but interacting with patients, with a guy who was cutting edge in his field of infertility, and I was there for 35 years. It was crazy. Crazy. Yeah. You know, don't be too specific. Just be happy, you know, excited, bring the emotion up, and when you start getting those, oh my God, but what if this, that, then go back and just go to simple.
Leave the details alone. Ignore the details. Just focus on the big picture of what you want.
I have a story. I have a little story like that. Very similar. I wanted to get out of work. I wanted to leave what I was doing. I was working in university, and I wanted to leave it because it was too comfortable. It was really just too comfortable. I knew there was traumas coming, so I needed to leave. And so I got a job that was a kind of bridge, which I kind of, basically I wanted a job that I would, to get out of where I was. And then another friend of mine, who I was working with, became head of a department in another building, in another university building. And I looked at the advert, and all the qualities were just exactly, I was exactly what they need. And I thought, wow, this is my job. And they said, okay, come along, 11 o'clock Tuesday morning, da-da-da-da-da. And so I woke up at 10:45 Tuesday morning. And as you might imagine, I had this thought of, oh my God, I'm late. I'm going to lose the job. But then an old Chinese saying came to me and says, if you are late, slow down. And so I just took my time, it's like, had a cup of coffee, got dressed, had a smoke, got in my car, and somehow crossed a busy London, because it wasn't, I would normally go earlier and I would miss all the traffic, but, I just got there, and, it took a while to find a parking place, got a parking place, went in there, and when I walked in, the room was full of guys in suits looking very uncomfortable. And and I just, went in to, say my name. It turns out that this interview process is running so late that even, no matter what time I would turn up, it would have been fine. And so I turn up and they're all hot and sweaty and anxious, and like I walk into there and I'm it almost felt like I put my feet up on the desk and said, well, when do you want me to start? But I didn't. But that was the feeling that I had, because it just, every moment turned into, wow, this is definitely my job. And indeed, I did indeed get the job, and it was fun. It was in the Children's Health Institute in Great Ormond Street. It was a great year, and I learned loads of things, and then I got out of the industry at all. So that was my manifestation story about. And if you can get to that feeling, people, that's what you want.
That's perfect, JP. It reminds me of something I've just read here. It says, when we change our individual template, the collective template shifts. And so you had changed your template, and the whole office, basically, when you went in to talk to them, shifted in your direction.
That's right. It was like, well, it was when you're talking about what your soul destiny is. And your soul chooses these things that your soul expresses what you like and what you don't like. Your preferences are all about your heart, and your soul expresses through the heart. It's like if you have a heart transplant, you actually start liking different things because your heart is on a different frequency. And so the idea of walking into the perfect thing is because that's what your soul has in its destiny anyway. And if you look back at all the things that you apparently fell into, they all make sense. They all have a contribution to the you that is you today. Even the bad stuff, even the traumas, all the bad boyfriends, all the bad girlfriends, all of the things that happen to you make you stronger or weaker, or put you in the right place. That's all I say.
So whose place is it now?
So this was your dream, to do this internet show?
I suppose so. Like I say, okay, so I've always been interested in sound, and I've always been interested in computers. And when I was a kid, believe it or not, when somebody said, "Oh, what's your ambition, Jeremy?" they would say, I would say, I want to be a computer programmer or a sound engineer. And as the and I did both. I messed about with sound as a kid, and I did computer professionally. But there came a point when digital music came about, which I really wasn't expecting, because when I was first doing computers, it was like you type things into the keyboard. And you didn't have graphical displays, it didn't play music, it didn't do video, there was no YouTube, it's nothing like that. So it was a completely different, it was a very sterile, intellectual environment. And music was a completely separate thing. But I loved music, and I nearly got a job as a sound engineer, but I didn't. So I got the computer job, but eventually, like, the sound pulled me out of computers, having learned what I needed to do, and I started playing in a rock band, and then did healing. Anyway, long story. But basically, I became both in the end, because now I am a sound engineer on computers, and this is how we're doing this show right now, through my expertise at being able to wire things together, so that you're coming in on one computer, and my microphone's coming in, and you're all going out on another computer into the radio. So that's how I learned how to do what I do. The voice.
And the BBC is not doing this as a series? I want to see it. If they put it out, I watch it.
The story of JP. Yeah, I will. Maybe not. But actually, people have asked me about my past life, my life recently, and it's quite interesting to just say, because I always thought I was really ordinary, and now people are going, "Oh wow, really?" And I kind of think, "Oh right, oh well, there you go." But I still think of myself and feel myself being very ordinary, nothing special.
Well, I'm glad for your expertise, because I'm enjoying talking to everybody, and I hope that everybody's enjoying listening to us speak.
And indeed, I talk about the 7 rays, and the energy of the rays that I carry is exactly this. The 1, the 2, the 3 goes truth through love in communication. And that's what I do. That's what you're doing. I will step back.
Bravo.
How do you make use of these rays?
How do I make use of the rays? How do you mean? How do I express them?
Yes, I've heard of the rays of creation in the past, but I never had a solid grasp as to how people go about using them. I like to learn stuff that I can use.
Right. Well, actually, you go to everbeyondradio.com and listen to the first show, and then keep listening until this is what I've been talking about for years now, about the 7 rays, the teachings from my teacher, Buddha Maitreya, the living Buddha, and it's all about how we are all energy, and we have energy bodies, and each energy body has its frequency or its ray, and frequency determines quality. That means if I'm vibrating on the note of C, the first ray, the red frequency, then I've got a very willful intent that I can, but not necessarily. I express will. Will I am. William is a first ray name, like a crown, a ruler, prime minister, a person in responsibility.
How do you go about determining what ray you're resonating to with?
You learn the rays, they correspond with the chakras, and the ray that you carry as a personality is generally the chakra that you're working on this lifetime. So people, for instance, with a 7th ray personality will be working on issues to do with sex and relationships and money. People with a third ray personality would be working on things like learning how to communicate efficiently. People with a 2nd ray personality will be learning how to love more. Does that make sense?
How do the rays numbers correspond to the chakras?
I'll run them by. If you go to 7rays.info, eventually you'll see some pictures on it. I don't know if I've got. I don't know if I've actually got the
7th ray, the number 7 or
S-E-V-E,
the word 7?
This is I have a website.
Okay.
I have a website called 7rays, SEVENRAYS .info, because it gives you information about the 7 rays. And I don't have that much. Hang on, let me see. Teaching download, the rays and the chakras, yes. There we go. If you go to 7rays.info, and there's a little menu thing on the left-hand side, a little symbol. You click on that, and then you get the menu that drops, that fills the screen. That's it. And go to the rays and the chakras. I'll drop the link actually in the post in the chat box here, and that will give you the connection of the rays to the chakras and how they relate. But we'll talk about it another time because it's an enormous subject, Walt. An enormous subject. And you're very welcome to listen on everbeyondradio.com to any of my free archives. And it's a very, very useful thing if you want to get into that. So anyway. I don't want to take up the whole show talking about the rays when you've got a lot of other things to talk about. But the ray is about the soul. It's about the higher soul. It's about the personality or the lower soul, I think Frank would call it, and how you migrate from the lower soul to the higher soul, and you allow. Which is basically, you see, the more you're evolved, the less you're in the way of your higher self. That's the basic teaching. So if you can express your higher self, you are that much more spiritually advanced than somebody who is only expressing, say, from the personality. And that's how we define evolution: is that which of the inner I, the self, the soul, or the higher soul, the monad, is expressing at any particular time. And most people don't even get beyond their emotional body expressing. You have 6, and it goes from physical, emotional, mental, personality, lower soul, medium soul, higher soul. So there's 6 frequencies in there that we're made of, and they determine what we are and how we express into the world. Does that make sense? I know I use funny language.
No, it makes very good sense, and it just, to me, shows on how the general public has been sort of bushwhacked into not learning this type of stuff, because this should be what you learn from, a very young age all throughout life, because this is what life is all about. But instead, they want to teach you history and other things.
These are the key. These are the keys. If you understand that you see, the thing is, what we're taught is that God is a mystery, and you'll never know, right? Because you're just a stupid, tiny human, which is absolute bull. Because we are part of God, we are God, and therefore we can achieve God consciousness and understand things from the inside out, which is basically what this is. God expresses like a flower from the inside outwards. And so all the expression of the energies of your rays, of your soul and everything like that, expresses from the inside outwards. Like a star expressing, everything expresses. That's what I mean by express. It comes from the inside and sprays out, or squirts out, or shines out. That's what express means in my language. So by expressing, by stepping out of the way of your soul energy to express on the world, and I have to say, it's a very rare thing, because most of the time people are work.
Yeah. Well, if you look at babies, say newborns and infants and so forth, they do that. And then it's taught out of them as they grow, because other people don't understand it. They're
threatened by it a lot, and particularly in a baby. When we see it in a baby, we feel these things. Oh, you mustn't do that. You can't do that, and that's our programming cutting in, because we're trying to control it. Hey,
you're hitting a really good subject here, and I was just thinking of. I've been working with a lady. She's in her 50s, and we use that technique where we go in and we deprogram them. I don't know if you're familiar with, there's this group consciousness, collective consciousness that kind of lodges between your soul and your frontal lobes of your brain. And when I can actually see it in people when I start working on it. It's like a gray mist of energy. And we've learned to go in and dispel it. We just basically erase it, which is your belief systems that you've held so dearly to that you won't, be able to think for yourself. Once we do that, I had this lady the other day, she's in her 50s, and I did that with her, and she said it was like somebody doing surgery on her brain, and all of a sudden, all of her pattern belief systems were pretty much gone. And then I did some more clearing work, and she went home. She come back a week later, and she met me at the front door, and she had this blank look on her face, and she says, I'm trying to figure out who I really am now. I don't know what to do. I've always had somebody tell me what to do. And now I have to formulate my new, who am I? And I was thinking of what you were just saying about babies. And can you imagine if we took children and allowed them to develop their creativity and continue to do that, how evolved they would be by the time they're our age?
That's what Steiner education's about. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it just flabbergasts me that, I mean, at least, there people are waking up, but it's, what you're talking about is what I end up doing most of my time with people is taking all those program responses and helping them try to formulate their new belief system. But how do you formulate a new belief system based upon what society's already told you? I mean, it's like you got to start all over and try to figure out what to do.
No system. That's the problem. You see, it's like saying, the government doesn't do anything, but what govern means is to slow down. It just slows us down. So we don't really need a government. But who'll build the roads? Well, the roads get built. There's always people who cling on to the idea of the state because or the church or whatever it is, because it's and this goes back to my life story before. One of the things that I noticed was going on is that I was becoming institutionalized. I had a really comfortable job. I could virtually walk in whenever I felt like it. I was appreciated for what I did because I did, I have this talent. But I was essentially feeling like my soul was being destroyed because there was something that I wasn't being free to do. Even though it was really comfortable, I couldn't do things. There was I still had to work, I still had to attend there, still had to go there. Couldn't work from home like I can now. But all of these things, they were pointing to that, like Morpheus in the Matrix. There's something in there that is like a splinter in your mind. You can't get it out. And what it was that I wasn't expressing my soul at all. I was just doing what I was told to do by other people, like this woman. And it took a bike crash to get that out of me. I mean, what kind of trauma is it going to... And I tell you, most of the people that we know, everybody that you know who's a spiritual healer, who's any form of enlightenment, they'll tell you about a near-death experience or some really bad thing that happened to them. Not one exception. Nobody had a brilliant childhood.
There is no normal people on Earth. That's only on Ozzy. That was on Leave It to Beaver with Ozzy and Harriet.
I had a near-death experience when I was 3 months old, so I guess I wanted to leave in a hurry.
Oh my gosh. No, you're right. Everyone I've ever spoken to that's had like a sudden input of amazing skills, techniques, powers, insights, or healing powers, they all had really messed up childhoods. And I used to think I had a really good one. I was wondering what I was doing in this group of people. But the more clear I got, the more I saw how messed up my childhood was. And I thought, well, I don't know. Is it better to not know, or is it better to know?
I had my first one when I was about 3 or maybe 4, something like that.
Tell us more, Gary.
Oh, I drowned, I guess you could say. I took a long walk up a short pier.
Well, you followed your wagon into the water. What were you doing?
Yeah, and I ended up in, it was like in Valhalla or somewhere like that. Maybe not Valhalla, Shambhala, like in the mountains of Tibet. in where they're living inside of a mountain, and it was like beautiful, so beautiful. I didn't want to leave.
Was that when you fell into the water?
Yeah, when I fell in the pool, the pond.
So you were 3 years old and you walked off a pier.
My grandmother saw my head bobbing up and down in the water, and she come out and dragged me in. But I don't remember. I just remember the Shambhala part. I don't remember anything else. I don't remember falling, going, dropping into the water or anything.
You remember the important, and that was the feeling, and the seeing and knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they made you come back?
I don't know. I don't know what made me come back.
You came back so you could be here now.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's why, we all had these experiences, and for some reason, that's what that's what you chose to go through, you manifest to go through, and so, yeah, you're here now in this group.
Cool.
Yeah, how else are we going to learn about Fulford, for heaven's sake?
So how do you correlate your near-death experience with close encounters of accidents? Like, I was learning to fly and almost was in three accidents with airplanes. I've almost drowned 3 times scuba diving, not counting all the other stupid things I've done in my life. And I never really considered those near-death experiences, but they all were. Mm-hmm. It really didn't. Yeah. I don't know if it really did any good. I still did foolish things afterward, but
it's the point where you get the life review. That's really the whole thing. When you see the movie and you get the life review, that's usually the time when you start taking stock of things. It sounds like you didn't get to that. You didn't quite get there, Rich.
No, I was out on a boat, 14-foot boat, in the middle of January in a storm, and it capsized it. Was hanging on the boat for an hour while a tugboat came out and rescued me. And I didn't learn anything from that at all, except just pay attention to the weather before you go out at sea. Right. So, those kind of things weren't quite deep enough. Like I'm in a cave and I get stuck when I'm scuba diving, and I finally work my way out, without drowning and things like that. But those weren't really what you're talking about. Those are just foolish mistakes that I think I did, like having an airplane almost run into me within 3 feet when I'm trying to land and things like that. I guess those were just the universe saying, you better pay attention to what you're doing.
You're beginning to sound like Mr. Magoo.
That is exactly what it is, Rich, is paying attention and being here now. Be here now and pay attention. So I think that those are wonderful lessons to learn about paying attention and being here now.
Well, I do pay attention to the weather before I take my kayak out now. I do watch the weather very closely, and I do look for sharks. So I'm not swimming with sharks anymore. So things like that,
You reminded me of you made me think of the story of this lady who, she used to collaborate with the Steve Beko website. Her name is Sierra Neblina, and she has a really long story because the thing is that she did have a near-death experience. She remembers it as clearly as any one of us going into a coffee shop, and when she sat with, I don't know who she sat with, if it was her guides or whoever assisted her, they gave her several options. Either, you go back as you are, which she didn't like that idea at all, or you move on and a walk-in will come in and take over your body to continue the work. She didn't like that either. And they gave her a third option, to be a braided walking, to come back with somebody else and both, co-share the body or inhabit the body. And she said, that's the option I want. and she came back, and now she's known as a psychic healer. And I know of a.
Oh crap!
We just lost Walt, huh?
Yep. Am I back, or am I still on?
No,
I know of a lady here in the Twin Cities who had a phone session with her, and it, very much like Frank. They'll scan you and tell you all these things about you that you don't even know about yourself. But I don't know of any others that are like that, where you have both the original and somebody else coming in and sharing your house. She called it a braided walk-in, but I don't know. I guess the universe has no limit on its imagination.
Well,
Right.
that's sort of like a condo experience then, in the Sybil story, of where she has. Yeah. So she was a condo, so this woman is just a duplex.
Yeah, I guess.
Or a townhouse.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what JP is really referring to. I mean, I had a guy a couple of weeks ago. He came in here, and he exchanged lost souls.
Yeah.
And
what happened with the Akashic record? Did he exchange Akashic records as well?
I think so, because his girlfriend came in to see me last week, and he's a different person, and he's really a jerk. I think he's worse than he was before. So I don't know if that helped him or not. I don't know. I just
don't you get like a catalog of really when you go through, like for example in fertility clinics, and a woman comes in to choose to be inseminated. She's given a catalog. This came from famous scientists. This came from an astronaut. This came from a football player. Don't you get like a catalog of desirable low souls that you can pick from, so you can I'd like the low soul of an ultra millionaire, for heaven's sake.
Hey, we ought to start. We ought to do. Maybe that's what I'll do next. Is I'll create a catalog for low souls.
So we're having a spiritual comedy hour right now, you guys.
So we'll have the redhead, the blonde, the brunette.
You could run specials like on.
We'll run specials, yeah. Large breasts, small breasts.
Does that have anything to do with low soul? Oh, I guess they do sing.
Everything to do with low soul. Everything to do with testosterone. And we have testosterone levels. We could really create a monster, couldn't we?
Oh, jeez.
You could make a lot of money.
This is what we
doing
did
that.
before we incarnated. We sat around the table playing with all the possibilities. Because some lives are like fraternity pranks, for heaven's sakes. So messed up. Is this what we did? We sat around the table?
But, that's what it is, though, Walt, is that you choose your own. And, you choose your own lessons that you want to learn, what your soul or spirit wants to learn this time around. And you set up different things to where if it doesn't happen exactly, something similar will be. And if you don't get it the first time, that's why something repeats itself over and over again. Mm-hmm. Until you finally get it. But you are the one who set it up. That's where I had the most challenge. I know people call it a near-death experience, but I don't like that term because I didn't feel like I was dead. I wasn't allowed to go on. I had to come back here. And it's hard for me to understand that I made that choice to come back. But I also know that I made very broad statements that this needed to be done and that had to be done and that had to be done before I would allow myself to come back down here. So I know that we do set up things for ourselves to learn and to do and to be. And just as how we all met here and are talking as freely as we are, this was set up for each and every one of us by us. And that is a wonderful manifestation that was created.
Well, I got a question for JP. Now, if we got these 7 rays, there must be variations in each one of those rays of possibilities. Would that be, I'm not trying to be facetious here, I'm trying to be serious. there are, each chakra has its own vibrational frequencies, but and those have emotional, like you were saying, if you're working on the second ray, then you would have a characteristic of trying to resolve something. I would imagine that there would be a lot of different variations to that scenario, wouldn't there be?
Oh yeah, well, the lesson is love. And how do you learn love? By being placed in a place where there isn't love. You need to learn to express love. So you get yourself put into places where you have to be ultra tolerant, or that you're placed in a position where you maybe have a child who is disabled in some way, or autistic, or whatever it is, but that you have to express love in that situation. You see what I mean about lessons learned? It's not always seeming like a great thing, but these are the challenges that we're given in order to express that. So, for instance, if somebody needs to learn how to communicate, one needs to find one's voice, for instance, and I didn't do that for 50 years of my life. So, we've all got our stuff.
Yeah, we have to keep coming back and refining these things, I believe. It's very interesting to me because when I work on people, everybody wants a quick fix. They come in, they say, okay, what do you find in me? Well, they have a whole lifetime of problems. I mean, what I've learned to do is I start dowsing there from age 1 or 2 all the way up to maybe age 60. And I'm asking them, what happened when you were 15? What happened when you were 20? What happened when you were 35? And they start going through this list of stuff. And I'm going, it took you a whole lifetime to accumulate all of these experiences. Now, you expect me within 45 minutes to clear everything out of your life? I can take care of some of it, but we also have a responsibility to learn how to eliminate it ourselves.
Exactly.
And I think that's the big challenge for our society is we have a lot of people that are energy workers, and I think there's so much emphasis put upon them to do everything for everyone else. Because a lot of these people, they don't want to meditate. They don't want to try to evaluate themselves. They just want to take a pill and be okay. So I think we do have some challenges ahead.
Yeah,
but like what you're talking about, you're talking
the whole
about
domination mentality. Here's my money, fix me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give your power to somebody else.
Exactly. So
I'm rich. I have the money. Why should I have to do the work? I'll pay somebody to do it for me.
Exactly. And it's the people want to feel better, but they don't want to be better.
They don't want to take the real pill that they got to take to face up to what's really the cause of their problem.
I like that statement. They want to feel better, but they don't want to be better.
And we question why manifestation is hard to do. And all of you have just stated why it is. Because you have to be pristine within yourself to command something to occur out of yourself.
Yeah, you're stating the same thing that it's said in the Wingmaker material, that's all that baggage, all that stuff gets in the way of you manifesting. It gets in the way of the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to clear, again, that magic word, clear. You have to clear all that stuff out, and then it'll come. I think I told you the story of the lady here in Minneapolis she's a psychic and she's a painter, and she wanted to find out how she could apply her skill to the painting. And when I was sitting with her, I got an intuitive feeling that I said, maybe you don't need anything special or added to you. Maybe you just need to clear all things, old things. And I did that. I guided her in a 15-step session, and she actually received healing for the physical body in the now, and she also went back into 2 different lives and corrected issues of those lives. And after the session, in that following week, all of a sudden she started getting all these jobs coming out of the woodwork for her to do paintings. And I said to her, there you have it. You did it yourself. Once you get rid of the baggage and you cleared what was in the way, now it just comes up naturally. You didn't need anything added to you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You fall into the flow, the natural flow of the energy in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
When you get your flow happening, then it melts in with the other flow of the flow that's happening all the time anyways.
Like, I'm sure, yeah.
When you're talking about manifestation, I was just thinking of the fact that what JP mentioned about love, and I can manifest a lot of things. I manifest jobs for people all the time. They usually get a job within a couple of weeks or whatever. That's pretty easy to do because the intent is they need to provide for themselves, and they're not really asking for anything that's really selfish. They're just asking for something that, is necessary for their survival. But when you're trying to manifest things that are related to greed, so you take power over people, sex, money, anything that involves the low self, I found that I can't manifest those things because they're at too low of a frequency to generate. I have to be at a frequency at least of the heart chakra in love to be able to manifest something that really comes to pass. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced those kind of things, but now maybe the use of dark forces or something, you could manifest other things, but I'm not into that. I'm into trying to heal and love people and do things, on a benevolent standpoint. But I just thought I'd throw that idea out because I manifest through the heart chakra, the 0 point. So when you're trying to manifest things that aren't for the benefit of mankind in the whole, then I don't ever see it manifesting. I don't see it happening. What are your guys' experiences on that?
If we all got what we manifested, it would be a very dangerous world, and we'd all be very rich. So there has to be a vibrational level for our better good for it to be able to manifest.
Well, who determines that? Ourselves?
Your soul.
Or is it just the energy frequency that produces it?
Your soul determines that.
On a very very simple level, I'll use this as an example. When I was out walking with my dog and he would run off to the river and so forth, I would go into fear, so I'd start calling him back, but I was in fear, and I would have to stop myself and start thinking, okay, I wouldn't want to come to me if I was in fear and I heard somebody calling to me in fear. So I needed to go into my heart space to where I just dearly loved this dog and I knew he was fine and life was good. And I would call for him from that spot. And if I could keep myself in that higher frequency of love and not fear, he would be back to me, I'd say, within 5 minutes and so forth, with basically no more screaming and yelling. Mm-hmm. And that is a love manifestation.
So that's manifested from the high soul, not the low soul. Like JP said, it's from your soul, right?
Yes.
So you're not manifesting from the low soul of fear. You're raising your vibration up to the higher vibration of your high self, and you're vibrating in love. Therefore, yes. your dog responds. So when you think of society and how they want to get stuff, they want to get this and get that. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to manifest from their low soul, and nothing happens. Or if it does, they coerce someone into doing it. So that's very interesting to me, just this whole subject of how trying to manifest things from either your high soul or low soul.
I think
Makes a
the
lot of
lesson
sense.
is getting the high soul to be in charge of the low soul, the low self. You know what I'm saying? Keeping it all
work
like
like
okay, this is what it is, but my high self tells me more.
Doesn't work
And
like
then
that.
that sort of stays as one.
Sorry,
What
it
happened?
can't work like that. The low soul has to allow it through.
Oh,
It's like the gatekeeper.
allow the high self.
Yeah. You can't shut the low self up. You can't
Oh,
push
yes.
it around. That's
Oh,
domination,
yes.
you see?
That's what I'm saying, uniting it.
It's a dominion thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, doesn't the low self come up with like these lower survival and these little rituals in the circles and worried about life and death and then the high, to me, your energy as a being rises as you gain knowledge, and then you find your heart, and then there's more, and then once you get to a certain, get to the top and out, you realize how much is around you, and then it also reflects back in you, and how powerful that is, and that creating your universe is including all that is. And then when that's what I was trying to get to, that the high self and the low self become united in a sense, and then it's all balanced. That's when I think we can stop reincarnating and playing the same game over and over again till we learn. We're just, and then can go further on. Take it to the next level.
Okay, I'm going to throw an anchor off the boat here. So your low self is all these instinctive DNA responses of survival, reproduction, these kind of, like protecting yourself, your desire for sexual gratification, your desire to eat and satisfy yourself, those kind of desires. I'm finding I can discipline myself into my low soul. Okay, I don't want sex today. Let's put it on the shelf. I got important things to do. I don't want to be distracted. Or I could fast for the day, or I can control my anger and say, I'm not going to be mad at this person for what they did. Let's just let this go. But I find that there's always that tendency for the low soul to still come back and say, I'm hungry now. Or, it's time for me to have sex or whatever. It's kind of like, I don't think it goes away. I think it's a matter of learning to control it. So, I guess my big question is, we're all supposed to get to this point of ascension where our low soul is so controlled that we can just not care about some of these things. But in reality, that's what brought us here in the first place, was to enjoy some of these things. So I kind of find a paradox in some of the things that people are saying about the high and low soul. So I'd like to hear your comments on that.
Whoa. Go ahead.
Are we here to enjoy, or are we here to see if we are able to work through and achieve on bringing the low soul and the high soul together in union as one, as the Trinity of one, as I am, we are one? That you have to start with yourself before you can expect from everyone else. So yes,
okay, we master it, and then we're bored with it.
But I don't think you'll ever get bored, because there's always something new. Then you go on to another, another level to learn the same thing. I don't know how to explain it well. It would be like if your 7 chakras are each in itself a heaven, and you're learning to achieve the divine in each of those chakra levels. And when you're able to, I'll use your word, master one, then you go into the next chakra level and work through all of that. And then you reach heaven on earth in that. Heaven is within. And so you're working on each of your chakra levels. And so I don't see where boredom would come in. If you felt like you were going to get bored, then that to me would mean that you would need to go back to where that chakra, back down to that chakra level and work through the so-called keys to graduate to achieve the heavenly space so that you can graduate on again.
Yeah, but I have the ability to go up to almost any dimension I want to go to. So I can go up to talk to ascended masters or Jesus or whoever. I can do that. I did that the other night, but that doesn't satisfy me as far as being a human being. That's just something I've learned to be able to do. You know, it's really interesting. I go up and gather information and talk to angels or whatever, but I don't feel like I've arrived. That's just, to me, that's just being able to communicate and learn so I can use these talents on Earth. So for me, it's like, I don't really, I'm having a kind of a hard time relating to the higher consciousness, spirituality thinking, when, even though I can go up there and do that stuff. That's what I'm going to do after I die anyway, and I've already done that hundreds and hundreds of times anyway. So it's kind of like, why do I want to spend all my time up there when I'm here on the third dimension? I'm here for a reason to maybe help other people learn or...
Totally. You totally are here for that. And you're doing that for us right now. And the world. By what you do, being who you are, being yourself, and sharing those gifts you have that you think may be boring because they're easy for you, are enlightening the world, Rich. And we thank you.
Well, I think Teresa,
on a high level, very high level.
I think Teresa hit it. There's 7 chocolate levels.
That's even better. I like that even better.
Chocolate cake and ice cream. I mean, come on, man. I really like this. I like some of this. I like chocolate ice cream.
Well, you could have, you could have chocolate ice cream. You could have, so that's like liquid crystal chocolate, and then there's also chocolate sauce, which is pure liquid chocolate, and probably chocolate vapor would be available soon. Oh man, chocolate vapor, that'd be cool. Just have a little bag and you, that's nice.
There you go.
Oh, I would like that, JP. You don't understand. I would like that a lot.
But wouldn't you smell that and then crave the chocolate in your mouth? Because you're already getting...
No, the vapor would go in. It's like the essence of chocolate. The ultimate, the high spirit that is within chocolate that you would just ingest. Anyway, I think I'm getting a bit esoteric here.
Maybe that's what those breatharians do. They nourish themselves, just they say, I'm merely air, but it must be, you can draw that sensation, that feeling, that remembrance, and be satisfied.
Breathing air is eating
after
chocolate.
That first bite of satisfaction of anything physical, I mean, you can create that thought in a split second.
What Marilyn is saying reminds me of some of the anecdotes surrounding the life of Paramahansa Yogananda, where he would just eat very little, and he would notice, for example, if his body was low in minerals, he would command the body to have all the minerals that it needed. Or like, for example, when he visited India after being absent for more than 20 years, wherever he went, he got fed 7-course dinners and came back with like 100 extra pounds, and no matter what he did, he wouldn't lose it. So he got tired of dealing with diets, and he said to the body, okay, we're going to eat and you're going to lose weight, period. And he did. Just ate whatever he ate normally, and then the body started losing weight. But I guess you have to reach that point of mastery where the body is, you have to convince the low soul that you're serious business, not, do this and then you turn around and you let the low soul do whatever it wants.
Have you ever given up smoking, Walt?
I've never smoked.
Has anyone given up smoking here?
Yeah, I've given it up several times.
Me too.
A couple of times. So, what we're talking about is an analogous process. It's what it's all about. Is the same process that you use to give up smoking, or how people give up alcohol. That's the way you ascend. You just keep doing that. One hasn't given up smoking.
Well, I gave up smoking because a boyfriend told me I tasted like an ashtray.
Ooh.
It worked.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
I started smoking because I was dating a boy that smoked, and I didn't like the way it smelled, but if I smoked, I didn't notice it. How's that for reverse logic?
Oh, my God.
That's the best way to feel with it.
But then when I quit, I lived with my brother for a little while, and he and his wife were very healthy and didn't smoke in the house, so I always stepped on the patio to have a cigarette. And when the pack ran out, I never bought another. And that was it. There was no quitting. I just didn't smoke anymore, period. At least the boyfriend.
This is the process. I mean, what you're going through is you are no longer receiving the stimulus that you need to keep that addiction going. You know, you're no longer with the boyfriend, or you're no longer in the place where you have to be pushed out of shape, which is why you want to smoke in the first place, and you step away from that painful place, and you don't need the what's that word? The comfort food or comfort chemical anymore. So, and
the thing is that
you just keep going, and you know, eventually you don't need food, and you can easily let go of meat, and you can easily let go of bread. Actually, no, it's not easy to let go of bread. I've been doing it. It's really hard to let go of sugar. I tell you, that's the last one. It's like meat, wheat, sweet, and letting go of sugar is the hardest one. And I'm floundering around like a beached whale, brothers and sisters.
Well, I have to tell you, JP, I'm working with a naturopath who's an acupuncturist as well, and I asked him about these concerns too, because yes, I want to be healthy. This was 2 years ago. I just said, now that I'm understanding about foods, I'm feeling bad. I want to stop this. I want to change that. And he said, it'll fall away when you rise in vibration to match what your body needs. So don't worry about it, because you trying so hard is distracting you from the real goal, which is working on expanding consciousness. So work on yourself, and all of those things just walk away from you. They can't stay in vibration. So all of that, you need all of that. It all just goes by itself. The cravings stop, and suddenly I look at my diet and I say, wow, I'm eating very well. It's almost all organic. It's fresh. There's nothing processed in my house. I didn't make a choice. I didn't even look to see what I would, if I threw anything away. It just happened. So just the same thing as the awareness. Go back to the work on your clearing everything from your consciousness.
But you notice the direction. The change was from the inside out, not from the outside in.
Absolutely.
Which is the real significant change.
Right. And then it just sticks. It's not a fad. It's not because I look good in the mirror. It's because I've changed.
Correct. And when you mature, the fruit just fall off the tree. Yeah, people want to change or change their consciousness or something by making exterior changes. And what if there are elements in your life? It means that you're, like Catherine would say, because you're getting something from that. Okay, you're eating bread. Well, your soul is experiencing that, and it's getting something from that. Who knows what it is, but there's something there. Now, once you outgrow whatever that experience was, then you'll stop eating bread naturally. No forcing, no hypnosis. It'll just fall off of you like dry mud.
Yeah.
You matured from the experience.
Yeah, it's not that hard to give up something if you really know it's bad. Like, I don't give up bread because I really like it, and I don't really have any proof that it's doing any damage. I'm kind of a little bit suspicious of this this stuff going around trying to demonize wheat, and like the wheat is
sugar too. They do.
Yeah, and cane sugar. They put sugar cane in with all the other sugars. And most of the sugar you get and consume is not even real sugar cane. It's mostly other synthetic stuff.
Well, the damage that
corn syrup and stuff.
Yeah, the damage that food will do to your body is the thoughts that you put in the food. Because if you're going to take a bite of food, and subconsciously or unconsciously, you're eating this, even though you like it, with the thought, oh, I'm going to eat this, and my pressure is going to shoot through the roof. Oh, I'm going to eat this. Just watch. Tomorrow I'm going to be 5 pounds heavier. Your body is listening, and the cells are listening, and they're saying, okay, she wants 5 more pounds. Go ahead. Go to work, guys.
Sit on that head. That is exactly right, Walt. If you love everything you put in your mouth, if you love it with no guilt, with no second thought, if you know you're transforming, your body is strong. I talk to my immune system all the time, and people start saying, "Oh, the flu's going around. This is happening, that happening." I say, "But not for me, because my body knows what to do." It doesn't matter whether that's 100% real or not, but it becomes a habit, and your body listens. You're right. You're right.
Correct.
So chocolate cake is the new diet food.
Totally.
I like that.
Totally. Yes. Chocolate diet.
I can get behind that.
I mean, how much chocolate cake do you eat in a day? You eat like 3 or 4 cakes, or just a couple of a piece, 1 or 2 pieces?
All right, well, that
depends how many cannabis brownies.
I like marshmallows. Eggs a day to eat.
And see, we're right back again to the description of self-talk and how you manifest. It's all in the self-talk. So very good, you guys.
Maybe we need a comfort break so we can all go get a piece of cake.
Well, there's a good thought. We haven't had a break, and we've been running it's 18:18 PST. We've been running 1 1/3 hours. So let's put on a tune, and then brothers and sisters, if you could in the chat room, please place your healing requests, and we'll see if we can do a ragtag kind of bob tag team healing session, and throw the energies around and see if we can make some fantastic stuff. This is Moby, If Things Were Perfect. Oops.
Maybe Gary can.
I got her computer right here.
Right.
Well,
yeah,
but she's off.
Yeah, we need to add her back into the group. I accidentally... I didn't think I could do that, but I did. But anyway, we're back on air. So, welcome back to Healing Zen Meditations and and slight Skype problems. Oh dear, I'm sorry. I just accidentally deleted one of the members of the group. I didn't know I could even do that. How could I do that? Anyway. So I was just trying to add everybody as a contact again because Skype had...
Tread lightly. We're all in trouble of being deleted.
Yeah, be nice. Be nice to me.
How about offering chocolate?
Chocolate. Step away from the chocolate.
I like
that. So, brothers and sisters, we are here. Oh, that's good. Everybody's pictures are now arriving. That's good. You're a whole bunch of question marks to me. So, let's see if we can add Marilyn. Oh, I'm so sorry, Marilyn, if you can hear me. Okay, so, right, so that's that. And we're back online, and we're back on air, and I'm looking at the chat room. We have one message in the chat room that I'm just posting in there. So, where would you like? Do you want to? Who wants to hold this? Who's holding this tonight?
I am, and I just screwed up here a minute ago.
So we need.
I clicked on the wrong thing.
Oh yeah, I know. Me too. I did that too, and we lost someone. I clicked the wrong button, and we lost someone. All right. I'm sure she'll find a way back in. I hope.
You can always reinitiate initiate the call and everybody would come back on again.
That might be true. Okay, everybody drop the call. Everybody click end.
Okay, and I'll restart.
Yeah, you start.
Okay, I'll drop and I'll restart. Okay, here we go.
Okay, here we are. We're just resetting the call live on air. How good. There we go. And now, do we have everybody?
Okay. And
hi, everyone.
David Corso.
Yep. Drop David Corso.
Good memory, Susan.
Oh, this is funny. I see a different picture of JP.
Yeah, this is me going to Hogwarts.
So you must have accidentally deleted Marilyn right out of the whole group.
Yeah, I didn't know I had the authority to do so.
That kind of power.
Yeah, I have greater superpowers than I thought I had.
It didn't say. Chocolate cake makes you powerful.
Maybe I can manifest chocolate cake. Now that would be a handy superpower. Chocolate cake man. I'm feeling really sad and upset. Here, let me manifest you some chocolate.
And because Rachel wasn't okay.
Willy Wonka in the Cannabis Brownie Factory.
Oh yeah. Now, that's the trouble with brownies, because they, you can basically, it's kind of like a perpetual motion machine, because you thought you were hungry before you had one, and then you were hungrier after you had one than after anyway, long story. So, Susan, are you
And then
back?
you forgot.
And then you forgot. What was I saying? Susan?
What?
Shall we start healing?
Okay.
Or do you need to debrief, because you were saying you did something?
No, I'm back. I'm fine.
Okay, I'm
just adding something that we need to do, a healing that we need to do. To that, so.
Okay, so shall we start with Marianne with the shaky hands? Sorry, no. Marianne from London, Ontario, Canada. She has inflammation, swelling, and pain in her left foot. Yes, Piscean female.
Okay, Rich, do you want to take this, or I can?
Oh, just go ahead. I'm soaking a foot. I stepped on a piece of glass.
Uh-oh. Okay. Alrighty. So, repeat that to me, JP.
Okie doke. This is for Marianne from London, Ontario, to remove inflammation, swelling, and pain from left foot. It's interesting because, I stepped on a piece of china a few weeks ago. I didn't step on it, I stamped on it in anger, but I got a lot of blood out of that. Good one.
Okay, we'll clear ourselves, take ourselves back to our third eye, do a quick clearing. We'll run down through our chakras. We'll get that taken care of. Go back up, then reach up through our crown, come back, go to our heart chakra. And if you have any crystals or lights, we'll turn the lights on green for healing. And we'll see Marianne in London, Ontario. And that left ankle and foot. Let's see here. We'll see her circulation. Seeing the swelling that's inside the tissue going down.
Yeah.
being absorbed, the pain being relieved. And we look in and see the cause of the inflammation. We're seeing that being released. Now we wrap that ankle and foot, wrapping it in a nice green gauze. Wrapping it. And we are using the power of manifestation, and so is she. And it is healed now. We place that, and we see it sustained. And so it is.
Send some to Rich.
Yes, Rich. Now which foot is that?
Oh, it's my left foot. I stepped on some glass earlier today, and I think I got the glass out, but it's I'm soaking it right now in Epsom salts just to draw out anything else, and so.
Okay. We'll do a little quickie there.
I appreciate it.
We see that Epsom salts drawing out the pain, the inflammation. We see that foot in perfect condition. No ill effects. We wrap that, and we stick a nice green bandage on it with a smiley face. We wrap it up. And it is healed now. And we sustain that healing as it becomes manifest.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, and while I'm thinking of it, Rachel had wanted healing done for Catherine Bratton in Chico, California. She apparently has some attachments and entities. So, Rich, could you help us douse those?
Sure.
So we'll put
Hold on a minute. I have to get up and dry my foot and go get a dowser. So just take a second. I'll be right back.
Alrighty, will do.
When you put the green bandage, I saw it with a smiley face kiss.
Very good, yes. Kiss it and make it all better. You know, and those intentions really do go out.
Okay, so So who are we working on?
We're working on Catherine Branton in Chico, California.
So who knows Catherine?
Rachel.
Rachel, are you here?
No, that's why she put it in the Stellar group before she left yesterday. She wasn't going to be here. So I wrote that down.
Okay. Well, let me connect to Rachel, then I'll connect to Catherine. Now I go to Catherine. Okay, so what do we got here? She's got a non-human cross-dimensional. We got to get rid of that first. So let me get rid of that. Stephen, I was bringing in a couple angels. Let's create that vortex. Thank you. Send you to a higher dimension. You're going. There it goes. Okay. That's gone. So, Earth entities. But these Earth entities, we just send them back down below and just send them back to where they came from. So I'm just creating a vortex right now of energy. It's flowing down. It's kind of like a vacuum. And then I'll take each one, go back to where you came. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. They're all gone. All the way down. Anybody's got a green light, turn it on. Thank you, Gaia. Just bring in that energy, unconditional love. We'll fill this from the root chakra down in Earth Mind. We just fill this up with this unconditional love energy. Next is a barrier that keeps the entities from coming back. There we go. That's better. Just to stay in that field. That keeps those entities out unless she opens herself back up. Sustain that. So those are some of, let's see what else we got. Maybe low human entities. No, high human. Low souls, extra low souls, no. High souls. Is that it? So that should do it for the entities.
Okay. And she also wanted some protection around her brother. She did not put down the name of the brother. So I'm not sure what's going on there.
All right. Well, I see her brother standing next to her. So let's just put this person in energy. Let's shield his energy. Just wrap the energy around the aura. You just take that green light. That's a good light, a good energy field to use. Add some blue to it. Sustain that. Hold that in form. Just shield this guy's aura. We'll just leave it at that. I don't have permission to work on him, so we'll just shield his aura.
That's what you said, just put some protection around. Okay.
Okay. Is there anything else?
No. JP, what do we have in your chat room?
Okay, so what have we got? Have we covered the, have we had, there's another Londoner. Mike Tillmans. He's just over his 20. He's in London, Ontario. He's got a painful sore throat on left side. Spent a day in hospital last week with abscess on left side of throat. Isn't it? Left side issues, feminine side issues. Yeah.
I made a mistake. It was on the right side last week, and it's now on the opposites.
So why don't we work through you?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't catch the first part of that, so.
He has a very painful throat.
Okay.
And last week he was in hospital, and there was an abscess on the opposite side of his throat. And the pain is reoccurring, but on the opposite side.
Okay, can you go ahead and, this is who?
His name is Mike Tillmans.
Mike Tillmans will work through you. You can visualize him.
Mm-hmm.
Rich, can you douse anything that's going on that you can feel is causing this?
I'm working on it. I'm not picking up any entities. I think that he is struggling with self-identity. Some sort of he's afraid to express himself.
Okay.
So it's something to do with past life, his current childhood. Yeah, something to do with his childhood that's manifesting that needs to be cleared.
Okay, why don't we send some clearing energy? You see that being cleared? We go to that time and place. Clear.
It'd be really interesting to talk to this person because it deals with self-worth. Mm-hmm. Whatever he's doing right now has triggered this emotion, and it just manifested this incredible disharmony in his body. He really needs to go back and figure out what created this situation in the first place. I mean, we can heal it temporarily, but it'll come back unless he finds the source.
Okay, I can work with him. He lives in the same city, so we can go and work on that. He's very, very switched on in that regard.
Well, good. he would really benefit from that. So now that we know what's causing, we'll go ahead and send our healing energy to his throat.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the soreness, seeing the inflammation, reducing. We send our green light and our love. We see his throat in perfect and complete condition, free of any inflammation, any redness, any infection. We see his throat being able to express himself as he will. And we wrap that in our green bandage, wrapping it. And we sustain that. And so it is. And we send him our love, our support, knowing that he will be healed in more ways than just that throat. And so it is. Okay, that should help him out, and you, as you work with him.
Thank you so very much.
So, Teresa, you got a couple more here.
From me and from him. Mm-hmm.
You got,
Yeah, these came from, my friend Mary, asked me if I could put this in the chat room. So these are conversations that she had with friends, and she made this request on behalf of them today.
Okay, well, we've got about 11 minutes, or well, less than about 10 minutes to go. So, Susan, shall we motor our way through this? Have we done Liane Charbonneau-Hill, lives in Saint-Eustache, Quebec, as neurofibromatosis. Wow, these are words here. Neurofibromatosis. Tumours on the spine, C1, T2, T3. She's just over 20. Wow. She's in a bad environment, this girl. What's going on there?
So what is her name again, BP?
Liane Charbonneau-Hill. What, do you know her, Teresa?
No, I do not. No. She is a granddaughter of some of my friend's friend. So I do not know her directly.
Right. The first thing I'm getting is like she's in some kind of radiation field or electric field, or what's anybody else getting here?
Rich, are you able to pick up anything, or?
I'm trying to find her first. I'm going down to the names to see if I can.
Yeah, because we need to get a focus first.
Oh, that's a girl that lives in Quebec?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So what were you saying, JP? Electrical or radiation?
Yeah, it just feels like a bad environment, something that is causing her, that there's something that's impinging on it. It's like something that is stroking you all the time. Will eventually turn into a callus or a sore or a cancer. It's like that. There's something. Sorry, I don't know how loud that is, but it's like it's irritating. There's something irritating her body.
And it's on her spine. See?
Is anybody else picking out that?
I'm checking for energies right now.
Could there be a negative ley lines where she sleeps or where she stays most of the time?
It's interesting you say that, Walt, because I'm getting it below and above. So there's something also going above her or me, but yeah.
Electromagnetic contamination?
It could, it could be on a ley line, but it could also be a combination of a ley line plus a like an electrical substation or.
Yeah, maybe she lives or works near a electrical where there's a whole bunch of electrical outlets. It has a whole bunch of electrical power coming through.
Or how about a TV in her room at nighttime?
And a cell phone by the pillow.
Something.
Well, sleeping on your cell phone will certainly do things like that.
If your electrical meter for the house power is right outside the wall where she sleeps, that could cause a problem too, I think. I've heard of stuff like that.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Or all of the above.
Well, I'm definitely picking up electromagnetic problem. Everything you were talking about as far as energy goes has a lot to do with this. But this hasn't just occurred recently. This has been going on for quite a while. This is an accumulation of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And her immune system was shot.
This is more. This is more than just her being. This is like a response to a desire, and that Frank always says that cancer is a result, not a cause, and
right.
There is some kind of I don't want to be here about this kind of thing, even for such a young person. So there might be other reasons behind why she might not want to be here,
So do you think that she has unplugged herself from Earth so that all of the, I'll call it negative energy, can't be grounded back out of her?
Interesting.
Possibly, that is, to have it be in that spot, be there. And it goes back to the manifestation of things, and what I was thinking before we had the broadcast of how different spaces and places affect us, and we find our place where we want to be, whether it's good or bad, and is she living there for a reason and allowing herself to be subjected to this?
Okay, so we look like we've wandered into quite a can of worms here. And
yes.
Perhaps, Rich, you'll be able to just douse what we can affect today, please, my
Yes.
Yeah, well, everything you've been saying is, I'm dousing it correctly. She's chosen basically to check out. This is a way for her to do it. And it goes back to her childhood. Her soul's very unhappy. I would just send her a bunch of unconditional love right now. And let her soul, let her soul figure it out.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that's what I'm getting. Just send her a bunch of unconditional love right now. So.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So she knows that there's people that do care about her and love her and support her, but the ultimate decision is her own.
And let her know too that if she needs to talk to anybody, Teresa, that you're available if she wants, like I said, if she wants to talk, and let the friends know that we did what we could, and ask if you can get a hold of her so you can tell her what we saw, what we feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be there for whatever decision she makes.
There is a possibility they'll be listening in. I hope they are.
So, yeah,
mm-hmm.
They are,
I know they may be aware of this, so that'd be great. But I absolutely will invite, create that invitation for her to speak with me.
She's chosen a hard road right now, so.
Mm-hmm.
We send her a lot of love and support. And understanding. We send love to her family. And comfort to her family. I don't think we have any more time, do we, JP?
No, we've got to go now, I'm afraid. So thank you very much, everybody. It's been a really excellent evening. So we should get rid of Frank more often.
Anybody that we didn't get this time, please come back next Sunday, and we'll work on you then.
Yeah, let's get
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you all.
I see. Okay. Shall we?
Blessings to you, JP.
When we're done?
Please.
Okay, we'll do.
Good night, everybody.